You can lower your hands now. Good morning. Let's begin with today's session. In today's session, we are going to discuss these things. Setting up of trash in Hadoop. Okay. Then web UI of Hadoop. Name node and data node directories. Checksum metadata files. FS image and edits. Heartbeats and block reports. Safe mode of name node. The schemes for using the distributed file system and the local file system. And then we'll start with the HDFS commands. I've listed a few commands. Let's see how many we can do today. And we'll have a few polls also so that we can see that you are getting whatever is being discussed in this lecture. So as in all our discussions and lectures before, I give you a time to ask if you have any problems. So if you have any questions, you can raise your hands. General questions, maybe some of you are having installation issues, even though I've tried my best to, provide you every detail about installation, but still there are issues. So if there are any issues regarding installation or your Hadoop cluster not working, you can ask now. I would suggest you what to do. We'll not be actually dealing with that right now, but I'll suggest you what you can do. Yeah, you can raise your hands to ask your questions, please. Yeah, I'm waiting for your problems. Some of you did ask certain problems as far as the Hadoop cluster installation, the single node cluster installation is concerned. So I'm waiting for your questions regarding that. All right, no problems. That means all of you are able to run your cluster properly. That's good to see. Next, I would request all of you to view the videos that I've put for the practical part. Starting from the VirtualBox installation, then the Hadoop installation, and then configuring your trash and your web UI of HDFS, and then HDFS commands also. I'm putting up all the videos for you so that you can practice them on your own, on your clusters. So I think all is good. So that means we can begin with today's session. All right. So let's begin with setting up trash in Hadoop. Okay. So I am here on the board. If you have any problems, then you can just raise your hands. But give me initial 5-10 minutes so that I can start a discussion with you guys. So by default, trash is disabled. By default, trash is disabled in Hadoop. Okay, you need to enable it. You need to set it up. Okay, so it can be done by configuring your core site.xml file. You need to configure this file. You need to add certain properties and their values in this file so that you can set up the trash. Only when you set up the trash, you can access the default user folder. Otherwise, you don't see this folder in your cluster. Okay, this is hidden. This is not accessible. Once you set up trash, this folder is accessible. Now, these are the two properties which you must configure. These are the two properties of trash which you must configure so that you can set up the trash and you can access this user folder. This property will check that how long the file that you have removed and which is lying in the trash would be lying there in the trash. So this is mentioned, the value of this property is mentioned in minutes. Same is for this. Okay, both these properties, the values are in minutes. And once you set a value, say, of 3 for this and 1 for this, that would mean that files would remain in trash for a period of 3 minutes. Okay, for a period of 3 minutes, and then they will be removed from the trash. And this checkpoint, this property will check that this happens. Okay, so after every 1 minute, a checkpoint will take care that all the files which are older than this value are removed from the trash. Okay, so this value, the fs.trash.checkpoint.interval, this value can either be equal to this value or it is less than this value. Okay, so this value, okay, is less than or equal to this value. You cannot set a value like this, that this value is 3 and this value is 4. Okay, it can be maximum. If this is 3, this can be 3, but usually it is less than the fs.trash.interval property. Now, once you set up this course.xml and you add these properties, then your user folder becomes accessible and you can see the trash. So below the user folder is the folder with the username, and below that there is a folder .trash. Okay. Now this is visible in your web UI also, and maybe you are not able to access it on web UI, then you need to add some more configurations to this course site.xml file and to HDFS site.xml file. Some more permissions must be added. Once you set up this trash here, then this user folder is accessible from the command line. Okay, but if you wish to access it from the web UI also, okay, from the web UI also, then you need to configure some more properties in this file and this file. Okay, basically some permissions for the current user, and one is a permissions enabled property. So that I'll just show you on the computer, on the cluster. So this is how you can set up trash. Now what actually happens when you delete a file? So when you delete a file in HDFS, it goes to this trash folder. Okay, and below this trash folder, a folder with the name of current is created. I repeat, when you delete a file from your HDFS, it is not removed from your cluster immediately. It is moved to this trash folder. Another folder below this trash with the name of current is created. All right. And after a checkpoint, whatever checkpoint you set here, if it is 1, then after 1 minute, this current folder changes to a timestamp folder. And below that folder, your deleted file is there with its original path. The original path of the deleted file is retained. Okay. So let's take an example. Let's say I delete a file A1 from the cluster, which is below the folder ABC, below the root. So I'm removing a file A1, which is below a folder ABC in the cluster. I remove it so that it moves to trash. So initially it would look like this. Initially your path would look like this. Okay. Once you delete this file from your cluster, the path would look like this. After 1 minute, that is after the checkpoint interval, this would change to a timestamp folder. So maybe the timestamp for today's, this would be 20. It is something like this, a folder with a name like this, where this is 1st September 2020 and the time would be there. This would be done automatically. And after this checkpoint, after this folder is created, after an interval of 3 minutes, this file would be removed from the trash. So if you want to retain this file, you have deleted it accidentally, then what you can do is you can move this file from this path back to wherever you want, okay, using the move command that we'll discuss later on. Using the move command, you can move this file back from this folder to wherever you want. But after an interval of 3 minutes, this file would be removed permanently from the trash. Now, sometimes you are sure that the files that you want to delete, you don't need them any longer. So in that case, while you are removing, you can give a skip trash. You can use a skip trash parameter while removing your file. Obviously, the files are removed with the rm command. So along with the rm command, you can mention this parameter, skip trash. So once you use this, just see the nomenclature in Hadoop, since it is based on Java and all of you are learning Java also. So whenever the nomenclature is there, in case of parameters or in case of methods or functions, the first word is in lowercase and subsequent words have their first letter capitalized. So skip trash is skip in lowercase, T capital trash. This is the option, skip trash. Okay. Once you use this option while removing a file, it won't be moved to trash. It would be removed automatically from your cluster and it won't be accessible after that. So this is regarding, setting up of trash. So if you have any questions regarding this, you can tell. Otherwise, I should move to the next topic. We'll see this on the cluster. Yeah, I'm waiting for your questions. You can raise your hands. Yeah, Gagandeep, go ahead. Ask your question.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Louder, Gagandeep, your voice is low.
Is it
Yeah,
okay now, sir?
yeah. Now it's
So
okay.
I
Go.
want to ask a question. Like, if we wanna store that file,
Hmm.
restore that file, how we
Yeah,
can do that
we need to move.
from the
We need to
trash?
move. Yeah, we need to move it from this trash folder back to wherever you want. Move
Yes,
is
sir.
move the file you need to move and the path where you need to move it.
But sir, that will be that operation will be valid with that much time. Like,
Yeah.
but we,
That if that much time has elapsed, so if you need more time so that you are sure that you're deleting files properly, then you
yes,
can
sir.
make it 20 or 30. In example, for a Cloudera cluster, this value is 1 day. Okay. This is
Yes,
configurable. This is up to you. So you can maybe for your cluster, you can set it up as 30 minutes. That's your choice.
yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yes, Abhishek, go ahead. Yes, Abhishek, go ahead.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, can you please repeat the skip trash step?
Skip trash is if you, while removing the file, usually when you remove the file, it goes to the trash. Okay. Now, you are removing a file and you know that you no longer want it. It's not required. So along with the remove command, you can specify this parameter hyphen skip trash. So the file would be removed from the cluster. It won't be moved to the trash.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yes. I think all good. We'll see this working. I'll show you both these properties. This time and this time we'll see. Don't worry about that. Okay. Now, if you, forcefully want to remove the files, for example, this interval is set up as 30 minutes. Okay. But you want to remove them before 30 minutes, then you can use the command expunge. A file system, Hadoop FS command expunge. So this will remove all the files from your trash irrespective of this interval property. Okay. So remember these two properties, then this folder path, then the current folder initially, then after the checkpoint, this folder changes to the current timestamp. And after that, after this interval, the file is removed from the trash. If you want to move it, restore it, use the move command. If you are sure that the file which you are deleting is no longer required, you can use this skip trash option so that the file does not go to the trash, it is removed permanently from your cluster. And if you want to override this property, fs.trash.interval this time, then you can use the Hadoop fs-expunge command. That's it. All right. So that's regarding this. Now let's discuss the next topic. So we have discussed setting up of trash and user folder. Okay. We'll see it on the cluster. Now let's discuss something about checksum. Okay, a very important concept, because when you are moving files to your cluster, then you should be sure that the files which you are moving are not corrupted. Okay, you know, they are not tampered with. So let's discuss this topic, checksum. I hope I am audible to all of you. Okay, so checksum property is, the feature is there so that we can send uncorrupted files to the cluster. This checksum is a check so that the files which you are transferring to your cluster are free of any corruption, are free of any error. Okay, so this let's talk about your name node and data node. You know where these directories are. You know where these directories are lying, the name node directory and the data node directory. Okay, you've set it up in the cluster. I think if you remember, it is in this folder. When you set up your cluster, you have set up these directories. So both these directories, name node and data node, they are lying in this path. They are under this folder HDFS. So name node contains which files? Can somebody answer? Which files are contained in name node? You can raise your hands to answer. Which files are there in the name node and which files are there in the data node? So I want somebody of you to answer. Yes, Madhav, go ahead.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, in the name node, the metadata files are there.
Okay. Can you elaborate more? Yeah. Metadata is good. Name node is basically containing the metadata. But can you specify what there are two important files in your name node on your name node
Sir,
machine or your
sir, it is active name node and the standby name node.
No, that is the that is something else. That is the single point of failure sort of thing. Can somebody else? Yeah, Deepthi, go ahead. You can answer. Yeah, Deepthi, I'm waiting for your answer. Go ahead.
Sir, FS image
Yes.
and edit logs.
Very good. So there are these two important files are there, FS image, edit logs, or we can call it edits. So these are the two important files which are there with your name node. Okay. And with your data node, what is there in data node, Deepthi? Deepthi, can you hear me? I think you've muted yourself again. Okay, so data node contains your actual data. Okay, so it contains files which start with blk underscore. Note this point very carefully. Whenever you store a file in your cluster, it is split up into blocks, and every block has got a ID. Okay, so the file name, the block name starts with blk underscore, and then there is a block number. Okay, the files in data node are prefixed with the blk underscore. Okay, along with this block file, there is a meta file also, very important. So I am talking of your data node. In your data node, there are blocks in the file that you are storing in the data node. It is split up into blocks. Every block has got an ID. So it starts, the name of the block starts with blk underscore, and then the block number is there. I'm saying along with this block file, there is a .meta file also. There is a .meta file also, which stores, which stores the checksum, so that it is, we are sure that the file that we are sending to the cluster is uncorrupted. Now, how this checksum is calculated? how the size of this dot meta file is calculated. Let's discuss that. Now there is a header in your dot meta file. There is a header information. Okay, that takes 7 bytes. The header information takes 7 bytes. So if there is a dot meta file with a size less than 7, usually you know corrupted files have size between 0 to 6 bytes. Okay, so if the size of your dot meta file is between 0 and 6, that means the file is corrupted. It should be minimum 7 bytes. Minimum 7 bytes. Okay, and plus some more size is there depending upon this block size. So let's take an example. For example, this file is say 28 bytes. The size of the block is 28 bytes. So the size of the dot meta file would be 7 bytes plus 4. That is 11 bytes. Now you may wonder from where this 4 has come. So the rule is for every 512 bytes of size, 4 bytes are added to checksum. 4 bytes are added to checksum. So size of this file is 28 bytes. Up to 512 bytes, 4 bytes are added. So that is why the checksum is 7 plus 4, 11 bytes. So if this checksum and this dot meta file concept is clear, if you have any questions, you can please ask. You can raise your hands if this is clear. And these block files and meta files are in the data node directory. I'll tell you how to locate them. I'll just show you them in the cluster. So everything clear about this dot meta file? Okay, you can ask later also. Now let's discuss about this FS image and edits file. Okay, so FS image is a permanent file. It's a table of your file system metadata. Okay, so this is a permanent file, and this edits file is a temporary, is a temporary file. So what is the need of this edits file? You see, this FS image records the changes which are occurring in your cluster. Okay, so if it is recording changes for every transaction in your cluster, for every operation in your cluster would become very slow, because this is the file which lets you access your cluster. So what we do instead is we record all the changes in this edits file. We record all the changes, whatever changes are taking place in your cluster, we put it in we keep on storing them in the edits file. And after a fixed interval of time, it is merged with your FS image file to get a new FS image file. The advantage of this is, number one, you get an updated FS image file. Number two, the size of this edit becomes 0. We don't have this as a very large file, because it can slow down your cluster. Now, when these two files are merged, that particular point is known as a checkpoint. Okay. Now, who initiates this checkpoint? Can somebody of you answer? Anyone? When this checkpoint is initiated and by whom? Any answers? This we have discussed initially, I think. So this checkpoint occurs after a fixed interval of 3600 seconds or 1 hour. This is the default time. This is the default time. So I don't think the board is visible here. So the checkpoint is 3600 seconds or 1 hour. Okay. After 1 hour, both these files are merged and we get an updated FS image file, and this file again becomes blank. Okay. Now this checkpoint is initiated by your secondary name node. Okay. Remember the secondary name node process? It is responsible for this merger. So what it does is it sends an HTTP request to your name node asking for this FS image, and then it merges it with the edits, because this FS image file is with name node. So this secondary name node, this will send an HTTP request to your name node, and after that both these files are merged. This checkpoint property, this interval can be set up in your configuration file. The default is 3600, that is if you don't mention anything, this time is 3600 seconds or 1 hour. But you can set it up with the configurations for either the time, or what you can do is, because sometimes in a cluster a lot of changes, a lot of activity is taking place, so this edit files may become very large, which can slow down your cluster. So what we can do is, we can specify that after a fixed interval of size of this file, both these files should be merged. So these files can be merged on two properties. Number one, a time interval, which is by default 3600 seconds, or we can also mention the size of this edits file, that once edits reaches a specific size, both these files should be merged and we get an updated FS image and a blank edits. So this is regarding your the edits and the FS image. Both these files are there in the name node. Once your cluster starts, you've got an empty edits, an updated FS image. Okay, so we can see all these things in your cluster when we see the name node information, and we can see all these informations in your cluster in these name node and data node directories. So if there are any questions now regarding whatever we have discussed on your checksum.meta files, on your FS image, edits, checkpointing, okay? Yes, any questions? I'm waiting. If there are any questions, I'm waiting. We are going to see all these things in your cluster after a few minutes. So, but still, if there is any question regarding this, something which troubles you, like how to calculate this, you must be very clear. What is the meaning of a checksum, file, a meta file having a size between 0 and 6? That means the file is not correct, is corrupted. Yes, Abhinav, go ahead.
Sir, please repeat checks how to calculate checksum one.
Yeah, okay. So checksum, Abhinav, by default, minimum is 7 bytes. That is for the header.
Okay,
That is
sir.
for the
Header.
Okay. And for every 512 bytes of your file size, of your block size, you get 4 bytes. Okay, let's take an example. Let's say a file is 1603 bytes. Okay, Abhinav? There is a file,
Yes, sir.
there is a block, block size is 1603 bytes. All right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you tell me the checksum now, Abhinav? For every
Sir,
512.
512.
Okay, so 512 into 3 is 1536. It is more than
Yes.
that. So that means
That.
4. Right?
Yes, sir.
4 occurrences of 512. So 4 into 4, 16,
16
plus 7, 23.
23.
We'll see it,
Okay, sir.
but you should know how to calculate it. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Any other
Yes,
question,
sir.
please? Any other questions? Okay. So now I'm coming to, the practical aspect so that you can see all these things. So if you have any questions, you can ask alongside now, okay? And then we'll discuss a few more things before we actually, discuss the HDFS commands. So let's go to our cluster. I've already started so that we don't waste time. Let's log in. The first step, obviously, open your VirtualBox, and then Ubuntu is started. And then what you can do is you can start these services. I've already done it. So if you go with the JPS command, you can see that this. So now I'll show you whatever you have discussed, each and everything I'll show you now. Okay. So watch carefully. You've already listened to it. Watch carefully so that you can understand the trash configuration. Okay, so let me open up your trash file, or rather I would open one notepad file for you. Look carefully on this file. Okay, so Apache Hadoop provides a trash feature, okay, which is very helpful in case of accidental deletion of files and directories. So if trash is enabled and a file is deleted, it is moved to the trash directory. Okay, instead of being removed permanently, it is moved to the trash directory. Okay, so they are initially moved to the current subdirectory. That's what I told you, current subdirectory, and their original path is preserved. All right, and files in trash are permanently removed after a user configurable time interval, and administrator can easily restore it to its original location within a time interval. Okay, so there is a time interval within which you can restore your file, otherwise it would be removed permanently from your cluster. So they are moved to a current subdirectory. Okay, see, this is the thing, this is the property which we need to set in the core site.xml file. The property name is fs.trash.interval. Value we can specify. Okay, the value is in minutes. So what happens is, initially it's like this. Kindly see on your screens. The file is moved to the current folder. There is a current folder, and then there is a checkpointing process. The current, after which the current folder becomes the timestamp folder. Okay, and then we can once the timestamp is activated. So the interval period, they say if it is 3 minutes, then after 3 minutes the file is removed permanently from your trash. It is not available after that. And if you want to clear the trash manually, okay, then it will, you can use hyphen expunge, the expunge command, hadoop fs hyphen expunge command. So this is the, the theory part. So let's open up and see whether we have configured these. So you know the path. I think by now you must have learned it like me. This is our folder where our configuration files are there. So I can mention this core site.xml file and I can open it. So you can see the properties here. There is a temp directory, then the default name for your name node. Remember, we can refer to your cluster with this also, HDFS localhost 54310. I'll discuss how. Okay, kindly note that this is another reference to your cluster. You can use this location. Okay, this is the default name of your name node. So just by writing this, you can access your cluster. Okay, then fs.trash.interval is 3 and the checkpoint is 1. We have said this 3 and 1. Remember this. Okay. So once you do this, we didn't see it in our previous these things. So once you do this, you see a user folder there. Okay, now look very carefully. This has been discussed with the 5th CSE2, not with you guys. This user folder, like when we were clicking on it in our previous class, it was not giving access. Now you can see when you click on user, there is a HD user folder. When you click on HD user, there is a trash folder. And below trash, there is nothing. So right now there is nothing in our trash. Okay. So another thing, the user folder can be accessed very easily from here once you configure the trash. How? Let's see. If I just write like this. So can anyone tell me what would be, the output of this command? I'm listing files. So what would be the output? If you keep on answering only, then you will be sure that you are understanding, right? Yeah. Anchal Mittal wants to answer. Yes, Anchal, go ahead.
Sir, it will list all the files of the default path.
Good. So it will list all the files in the default path. I have not mentioned any path. See, after ls, I have not mentioned any path. So it will list your default path. So default path is /user/hd user. Okay. So that means it is going to list the trash folder now, because that is what is the contents of the default path, user hd user. It contains only one folder, that is .trash. So it will list the trash folder here. Can you see? That means you can access your user folder from command line. So if I write like this, if I want to list the contents of the user folder, it will list the hd user folder now. I hope it's clear. Okay. So this is one way of accessing your default user folder. But if you want to access it from here, okay, say if you want to access it from here so that when you click on user, it allows you access, then you need to do some configuration settings. I'll tell you what, you can just check them in your in your HDFS site file. Yeah, let's go to the HDFS site file. One setting would be there which would be required so that you can use. Let's open this file, and yeah, no, the setting. So it is working without that also. That's good. But otherwise, you know, maybe in your clusters, it may give you problems. So I'll just highlight that part. I'll just open up one file for you. I'll send this file to you also. That is, if your user folder web UI is not accessible, then what you can do is you can make these settings, which I'm going to tell you now. I'll send this file to you. Plus, I need to send a lot of files to you. After today's lecture, you will receive all these files. So let the file be opened. So this is the installation, which you have received already. Some portion you might not be having it. So I'm going to share it with you. This is the trash settings that I just discussed. So one way to make your user folder accessible, if it is not working, you change the permissions. This is one way. Otherwise, if you have problems using the web UI, you must set these values. One in HDFS site, this property and this value, dfs.permissions.enable, the value true, and one in your core site, that is to, whatever your username is. Say, for example, our username is HD user. So this property and this value. This you would see when you are not able to access your web UI of Hadoop. Okay, so let's come back. So all set now. So let's copy a file to some folder, say Hadoop. So how to transfer a file to your distributed file system? By using the put command. Okay, say slash say examples. So with this command, I am transferring a file examples.desktop to the root of the, let's not do it to root, let's go it to the user folder. I'm transferring this file examples.desktop from my local file system. Remember the name. We'll be coming to the next topic, which is very important. That is how to refer to your local file system and distributed file system. So first simple example, transferring a file from your local file system into the distributed file system. The path that I've chosen is the user folder. Okay. So this will transfer this file to the user folder. Okay. You can check it. You can see it here. Let's go to user folder, and there is this file examples.desktop. Okay, so we'll revise each and everything very slowly but very surely, like whatever is there on the board right now, the checksum, the name node, the metadata files, we'll be checking it all with this example only. Okay, so I have transferred a file to the user folder. Now let me remove this file from here very carefully. Hadoop fs-rm is the remove command. Then I must give the path. Below the root there is a user folder, and below that there is a examples.desktop file. Okay, I'm going to remove it now. So you can see now look very carefully. The date is 1st September. The time is 10:40. Okay, 10:40. See, and moved this. See the address, your name node address. Is it coming here? HDFS localhost 54310, and then user examples to trash. Okay, this file has been moved to trash. How you can check? You can just refresh this user folder. This file is not there now. Okay, because it has been moved to trash. Let's go there. Let's go to trash, and you see this timestamp has now come. You see, one important thing here, this file was deleted as 10:40 and then 42. Can you see? 10:40, 42 seconds. So it just takes the minute as the default. It will activate the timestamp at 10:41. Okay, so that is what it has done here. It has activated the timestamp at 10:41. Can you read it? 2009 01 1041. So it has activated it at 1041. Okay, and below this folder, this is a timestamp folder. Below this, okay, now this is not accessible. Okay, this folder is not accessible. So let's try to make it accessible with our Hadoop FS. Let's hope it works, because it gives you problems sometimes. Hadoop FS hyphen chmod. What was that? Hyphen R, then 755 slash user. See, this folder, because of new folder was created below the user path, it was not accessible by default. So when I use this chmod command and I make it 755, 7 means for user, all the privileges for user, and R means recursively whatever is below the user folder. So now hopefully let's hope that this will give us access. Yeah, now you can see, and then the user and this. See what I told you. The file which is deleted has its original path preserved. So in trash, there is a timestamp folder. Below that, the original file path was /user/examples.desktop. So that is maintained here. Okay? So I am taking a break so that I am clear that you are understanding. Any problems, just give a raised hand. I don't think there should be any problem. But if it is there, you can raise your hands. Okay. So this file, can somebody answer at what time this file, it is 10:43 now in system time. What time it will vanish from here? Raise your hands. This file, examples.desktop, when it would be moved? Right now it's there. Can somebody answer when it would be removed from the trash? At 10:44. See here 10:43 right now on your screens. Okay. I'm refreshing this. This file is still there. I'm refreshing it, still there. The moment it is 10:44, this will disappear. It's still 10:43. Okay. Now let's see 10:43. Still the file is there. The moment is 10:44. Now it's gone. Okay. It says the path is not there. So if you go here now, okay. Let me just refresh this path for you. The trash. Okay. Now the trash is empty because that 3 minutes interval has elapsed, so the file has been removed. Okay. Another example so that you are clear, you have not seen the current folder. Let's see, now it's 10:44. Okay. So at 10:45 we'll do it. Hadoop fs hyphen put, or let's remove from the, hyphen rm slash examples.desktop. So what I'm going to do now is remove the file examples.desktop from my root. Let's see, it's there in the root. Let's check the root of the cluster here. No, it's not there. Yeah, we have examples.desktop file. It is 10:45. Let's do it now. I'm removing it. Okay. See, be very careful here. So it removes at 10:45:14. So we would be, able to see the, the current folder. Can you see? At 10:46, this will become the timestamp folder. So let's wait for 10:46 so that the things are clear. You can see the time here. I think here the cursor is 10:45 a.m. It will be 10:46 soon. Okay. The moment it is 10:46, this current folder will change to your timestamp folder. So I'm waiting for it, to strike 10:46. Right now we are having current folder. I'm just refreshing it. Nothing is, being done. Yeah, 10:46. Now you can see the timestamp. Sure. 1st September 2020. Timestamp is, you can see the timestamp, 10:46 is the timestamp. So this file now, you can see this folder, it would be having, again, you need to, because this folders are created, new folders are created, the permissions are not there, new timestamps. So you can always go in with your, this command. This will just make it accessible once again. And the settings which I just discussed, maybe they can help you to make it permanent. You can check it. Now you can see there is this examples.desktop file in this timestamp folder. It would be removed at 10:49. I think that's a good enough discussion about your trash. I think a lot of detail is there in that. The practical aspect also. I think, yeah, Abhinav Kashyap, you want to ask something? Go ahead.
Yes, sir. My question is, the file is removed after a certain period of time from the trash. What if we don't want to remove it from the trash?
No, no, you can move it somewhere. Let's say we
Okay.
want to move it. So this file will be off at 10:49. It is lying in this path. Okay. So you need to copy it from this path. All right. Let's see
Okay.
whether we can make a copy. It allows the copy or not, or we have to type it manually. So Hadoop fs hyphen move. Okay. Yeah. This path. Desktop to root. I am moving it to root. From this trash folder, I'm again putting it back to the root of HDFS. You can check right now that the root is not having any examples.desktop file. Abhinav, you can see in your root there is no examples.desktop file
Yes,
right
sir.
now. Okay. So when I move it from the trash to this,
Yes, yes,
okay,
sir.
let's see whether it allows or not. Yeah, no problem. So now if you refresh your this, you see that the file has come back. Okay. And if you go to your trash folder,
Okay, sir.
okay, you can see there's nothing in there. Okay. From the timestamp folder, you have
Okay,
moved it.
okay, sir.
And this folder would also be removed
Yes, sir.
at 10:49.
Okay, sir.
All right.
Sir, one more question.
Yeah.
One more question is there. We are providing the time to get deleted from it from the trash.
We have to,
हम खुद टाइम प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं ना कि
हम
ट्रैश
खुद
से
ही कर
वो
रहे हैं
चीज
fs
डिलीट.
dot
हाँ
trash
जी.
dot interval.
तो
Yeah.
अगर अगर हाँ वो अगर मैं चाहता हूँ कि वो ना डिलीट हो तो मैं कुछ ऐसा इंटरवल प्रोवाइड कर सकता हूँ.
Huh, it's 1 day, 2 day, 1 year, whatever. Mention it in
Okay,
minutes.
okay,
That's it.
okay, okay, okay,
All
okay.
right. Okay. So let's have a poll now. Please participate fast in the poll, all of you. All right. Yeah, the poll is there in front of you now. I'll give you limited time for this. The poll is there, quite easy if you've taken the session very, seriously. It's there in front of you. 2 questions, very easy, I think. Just read them properly and then answer. I repeat, read them carefully and then answer. And one more thing, these polls are going to be added to your internals. Some of you are answering stupidly, like one person has answered not defined, none of the above. वो बच्चे fail हो जाएंगे. Make this thing very clearly. I don't know whether you understand the gravity of what I'm telling you. If you are not, clear in answering these questions, don't write any rubbish answers. Okay? Because whatever you are answering, it's having a fixed portion in your internal. We're going to evaluate it. It's there with us on a daily lecture basis. Okay, 15 seconds more now. 15 seconds more. 10 seconds. I'll remove this poll. You need to answer fast. 5 seconds. I'll count to 5 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to end this poll now. I'm going to share the results with you. So the correct answer for the first one is false. That's very simple. fs.trash.interval is the time for which the file is there in the trash, and the checkpoint is which initiates that. So checkpoint is always less than the interval property. So the question fs.trash.interval should be less than the value is false. I asked you, these are jumbled questions. You should read them carefully. And this one, the skip trash, I told you the Java style, the first word in lowercase, after that every word first letter capitalized. So even only 62% people have got it correct. Can't help it. This is related with your internal. You'll see it. If your most of the polls that you're giving are wrong, incorrect, you are not giving them properly, you will fail. You can trust my word. मैं आपसे कभी झूठ नहीं बोलता हूँ, आपको पता है. Okay. Be careful with your polls, please. Okay, so let's continue now. The next thing was the checksum, right? So let's see now the checksum. Let's pick up some file. Be very careful now. I am going to illustrate something good for you. You can have your calculators with you, okay? Look at this file now, very carefully, examples.desktop, okay? I hope you are clear about this block size and replication settings in your this file, wherever you set up this HDFS site file. So right now the replication is 2 and the block size is 2 MB. This examples.desktop, the size is 8.77 KB. So can somebody answer how many blocks for this file examples.desktop? The block size is 2 MB. The size of the file is 8.77 KB. So how many blocks for this file would be there? Anshul, Mithil, you've already answered. Okay. Aditya Mehra can answer.
So 1.
Yeah, 1 block. Perfect. Because if the file would have been more than 2 MB, maybe the file, if the file was 3 MB, then the size would be, the size number of blocks should be 2. So Aditya, 1 you're saying? Aditya is gone. जल्दी म्यूट कर लेते अब अपने आप को हैं. Aditya, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Aditya, 1 block. What is the size of that block, Aditya?
2 MB.
No. Can somebody else answer this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Some 8.77 KB.
Yes. Whatever is the size, 8.77 KB. Okay. So let's see it. See on your screens now. With this file examples or desktop has got only 1 block. Can you see? 1 block. Okay. And the size is 8.77 or 8980. My question is, what is the size of the metadata for this file? All of you can calculate. I'm waiting. You can see the size 8980 bytes. My question is, what is the size of the metadata for this file? You should calculate it, right? Please calculate. I'll be asking you once you respond back with raised hands. The file size is there in front of you. Can you tell me the metadata size? I'll give you 30 more seconds and then I will myself answer this question. But I wish that you could answer this. It's easy. Yeah, I'm still waiting. Deepthi Kumari has raised the hand. Good. Let's wait for somebody else also. Okay. So let's ask Deepthi. Go ahead, Deepthi.
That's 1.97 MB.
Deepthi, it's not correct. I'll give one more chance to somebody else. It's not that difficult. Abhinav, can you answer? Abhinav को देखे कहाँ है? Yes, Abhinav. You asked the question, I answered. Abhinav, please answer this.
Yes, sir. I'm calculating. Just wait.
You're calculating. Okay. Ankit has raised the hand. Ankit, please answer.
Sir, 71 by
How much, Ankit?
71.
Not correct, Ankit. Yeah. Anchal Mithil.
The 71.
I'm afraid. No. One more chance, maybe. Dipti, you still want to answer?
No, sir, I've stopped my calculation.
You stopped your calculation. Okay, okay, fine. So Surprising. I wish that all of you could answer this. What is 8980 divided by 512? Can somebody answer that? Anchal Mittal, Dipti Kumari. Okay. Yes, Dipti? Dipti, go ahead.
17.5.
So that should be rounded off to 18.
Yes, sir.
And 18 into 4 is 72. For every 512 bytes, 4 bytes are added. So 18 into 4 is 72 plus 7 for your header, isn't it? So the meta file size should be 79 bytes. If all of you agree, you can raise your hands that you've understood. I repeat, the size is 8980, this file size, okay? Divided by 512, it comes 17 point something. That means round it off to 18. 18 into 4 is 72 and 72 plus 7 is 79. You can lower your hands now. Now let's locate this so that you understand that it's like that. Very important now, have a look on your screens. We go to our default folder, that is the user. Click on computer, the user folder, the local folder, and then the Hadoop store. The path is written on the board, you can see. Okay. Then the HDFS folder, right? You can see both your data node and name node directories. I'm going to data node. Look very carefully. Then I'm going to current. Then I'm going to the block pool for the data node. You see here also you can see here is a block pool ID. Can you see BP142? And this is the block ID for this block. 10737420087. So I told you they are having a BLK sort of prefix. So very carefully now, we go to current, we go to finalize. What is this? Finalize in RBW I'll discuss with you, okay? We go to finalized. There is a subdirectory 0, go there. There is again a subdirectory 0. I'll go in subdirectory 0. Do I see the same block here? No. This block ID ends with 2087. So it is some other file block. So let me go to other subdirectory. Now is it the same 2087? Look very carefully. This is the block ID 10737420087. Have I located it? Does it start with BLK underscore? Yes, this is my block. The size you can see, you just checked it, 8980 bytes. Okay. Now let's check the size of the meta that we calculated. It's 79. You can see that this is the meta file for this block, which contains the header and the checksum, which will tell you whether the file is corrupted or uncorrupted. All right. Now let's go back. Are all of you listening to me very carefully, because I'm going to highlight a very important point to you. Okay. So listen, while when you transfer a file from your local file system to the distributed file system, then the blocks file with file is split up into blocks. So these blocks are first they come here in this folder RBW, which means replica being written. RBW means replica being written, and from this, once they are okay, they go to this finalized block. That means if the meta file is okay, the checksum is okay, they go to this finalized blocks. So you would say कि sir ये कैसे होता है आप दिखाओ. So I'll show it to you. I'll take a big file, so that which is having thousands of blocks, and you will see the blocks first going into this RBW and then vanishing from there, so that they are going to the finalized block. So मैं ये RBW block open करके रखता हूँ. ठीक है, अभी ये blank है बिल्कुल, right? Let's look for a big file in our cluster. Take this example see this example very clearly. So let me list the files. Let me list the files like this. Can you see a file? Can you see a file of 343 M here, all of you? This star file. I'll transfer this. So again, the question is, how many blocks for this file in my cluster? Waiting for your answers. I'm going to transfer this 343 MB file into my cluster. How many blocks would be there with a 2 MB size, 2 MB block size? How many blocks for this file? Yeah, raise your hands. Only if you answer, only then you will understand. Commands तो आपने सीख ही लेने हैं. ls क्या करता है, put क्या करता है, get क्या करता है. That's easy. Yes, Dimanshu, go ahead. Dimanshu, go ahead. Dimanshu, unmute yourself.
Sir, 173.
173. Okay, let's take one more answer. I have not checked it. Maybe it's correct. Yes, Sharanjit, go ahead.
3 blocks.
Hmm?
3 blocks.
How many?
3.
3. No, no, no. You see, the block size is 2 MB. The file size is 343. So 343 divided by 2.
Yes,
You
yes,
see, it
yes.
should be
I got
172. 17. Devanshu, how many you answered?
Sir, 173.
173. Sure. 173 or 172?
Sir, wait, sir. Sir, 172. Sorry, sir.
Okay. So we'll have
172.
172 blocks for this file when we store it in our cluster. The blocks will be numbered from 0 to 171. Is that clear? One thing. Okay. Now let's transfer this file. So can somebody suggest me a command how to transfer this file? What is the command? Hadoop fs hyphen put, then the file name. This is the file. Let's transfer it to root. Okay, I'm transferring this file of 343 MB to root. Now you must see very carefully. Right now we are in the RBW block, it's empty. But as the blocks are transferred from the local file system to this, as the blocks are being created, they would be reflected here in RBW. You can see them, right? So let's have a look now. Let's run this. Let the command start, then I'll shift you to that folder. You can see each and now the blocks are going. See this RBW. Can you see? See, a block comes there temporarily and then it goes to the finalized block. So if I take you to the finalized block, you can see the subdirectories would be created here. So it takes some time to be finalized. Okay, but if you go to your RBW, let's see if they are still being written. No, it's done. Okay, it is done. And if after some time you come to finalize, you will see more subdirectories. Say subdirectory 1. Yet no, yeah, now it is refreshed. Can you see all the blocks have come here with their meta files? So I think it's clear how to see the data node, the meta files. Now let's go to our cluster, okay, and refresh this so that we can see the Hadoop file. It has come here. Sharanjit, look carefully now. This is the file size, 342.56 MB. This is the block size. So it will have 173, 170. Let's see, let's check. Yeah, block 0 to block 171. So 172 blocks numbered from block 0 to block 171. Now all of you look on the screen carefully. Block 0, look at the size, 2 MB. Can you see? Block 1, 2 MB. Block 4, 2 MB. Now question for you, what is the size of block 170, the last one, 171 I think. Yeah, somebody can tell me what is the block size of the last block? Is it 2 MB or is it less than 2 MB? Okay, Abhinav, go ahead.
Sir, it is 1 MB.
It's 1 MB. Okay, let's hear it from Anchal. 166. Anchal, go ahead.
So 1 MB.
Okay, Dimanshu, go ahead.
Sir, 500 KB.
Okay, still close. Good. Anchal Mittal, go ahead. It would be in bytes, na? How many bytes? Okay, let's see, let's check for ourselves so that you understand how the blocks are split. So it is approximately 583,919 bytes. So Devanshu, your answer was near to being correct. That's good. How it has come, all of you know. Okay, let me go to Sharanjit. Sharanjit, unmute yourself.
Yes.
Clear now, Sharanjit, the confusion?
Yes. Yes. Sir.
Okay, okay, good. So this is regarding your data nodes, right? Let's go to the name node part now. Let's go to this folder. Let's go back to the name node folder. Look very carefully now. Let's go to name node. So in name node folder, when you click on current, you will see only the edits file and an FS image file. Can you see? FS image with the checksum. So FS image file and so many edits logs. Okay. Because once your edit file is merged, then it is not required, or if the size is increased, it is not required. One of the files would be named as edits in progress. Can you see? So this is the file which is currently managing your changes in your cluster. And once that 1 hour time period is there, then it is again merged with FS image. Okay. So this is regarding your name node folder. What else was there? The properties. Okay. Have a look now. This is regarding your checksum. I'll send all these files to you. How to calculate it, I have done it here. I've written, whatever I think is good for you. This is regarding your checksum file. I need to cover so many things today. Let's hope that we have time for that. Yeah, one more file. Yeah, this is the FS image file. So what is FS image and what is edits? I have written in this file. So you can see the property names are also written there. Okay, because we are not using these properties. So this is the two properties. Look on the screen carefully. If you want to set a time period after which both the files are merged, FS image and edits, then this property must be set. Okay, fs.checkpoint.period. The time is in I think seconds. So it should be set as 3600. Okay. Or another property is fs.checkpoint.size. This would mean that whenever your edits file reaches a specific size, it should be merged with your FS image. And you should write these properties in your core site.xml file. Okay. So this is regarding this. So now if you have any questions, this is basically the first part of what I wanted to discuss. One more thing is left. I'll discuss it fast. I've already discussed it with you. All clear? All right. So now one more thing, something known as heartbeats and block reports. Okay. So you see your data nodes, they send heartbeats to your name node every 3 seconds. Okay. And this property is dfs.heartbeat.interval. I repeat, dfs.heartbeat.interval. Okay. And another one is your block report. Block report is sent by data nodes to the name node every 6 minutes. And this property is mentioned in milliseconds. Okay. So the property name is dfs.blockreport.interval msec. Okay. I'll just type it here for you so that you can note. This is the property name. Okay. I'm just writing it here so that you can just check. This is the property which you mention to configure your data, block reports. By default, it is 6 minutes. You can set it. So by default, its value is this. So many milliseconds. Okay. You can configure it. Is that fine? Any problems, you can raise your hands, please. The first part of my lecture today is good, I think. We have discussed so many things. Any problems regarding these heartbeats or block reports? Heartbeats would indicate that the data nodes are alive, they are working. If a heartbeat is not received and a block report is not received, then the name node would consider that the data node in question is dead, is not working, and by referring to its metadata, the name node metadata, it will find new data nodes to copy the blocks which were lying on that dead node. Okay, so any questions you can ask, please. Otherwise, we move to the next part of our lecture. All right, no questions. That's good. So next we move to the let's go to our PPT to see where we have reached. So we have discussed name node, checksum, FS image, heartbeats. Yeah. Next is the safe mode of name node. Okay. And then we'll start with the scheme and the commands. Okay. So safe mode of name node. Okay. So let's go to our cluster to understand this. Let me just go to, you see, this is how you can access the web UI, localhost 9870. Okay. So this is the cluster startup progress that I just discussed. You see, this is your name node. Okay. Right now it says safe mode is off. Okay. So we'll see what is safe mode. And then it tells you that there are total 9 files and directories, 174 blocks, and all the other details are there. Okay. This is regarding your name node. Let's go to startup progress. How our cluster started. Okay. So this is the, loading the FS image. You can see the path. We just went through that path: Hadoop store, HDFS, name node, current, FS image. Okay. Then we see the edits file. Can you see the edits file? Okay. And then the checkpoint is there where these are merged. Okay. And then initially when you start your cluster, when we start our cluster, the name node goes into a safe mode. Name node goes into a safe mode. So it checks that all the blocks are okay. And after a fixed number of, blocks have been checked, then only then it comes out of safe mode. So you can see all these things here, the FS image, the edits, the checkpoint. Okay. So all this is there. It's a quick, because our cluster is very small. So this time is showing very quick, 2 seconds, 1 second, 3 seconds. Otherwise it is a, time in minutes sort of thing. Okay. So this is regarding our the startup progress, and then the safe mode. Let's go to the safe mode now. I'll open up one good file for you so that we don't waste much of our time. Look carefully now. We'll first discuss it here, and then we'll. So safe mode for name node is a read-only mode. So one thing, when your name node is in safe mode, you can only read data from the cluster. You cannot delete or insert data into your cluster. No modifications or no deletions. And it is in safe mode state during startup because the cluster needs to validate itself. Okay. Or the blocks and the locations. Once validated, safe mode is then disabled. So we agree that the safe mode is, initially the safe mode is on when we start our cluster. After some time, when the blocks have been validated, the safe mode is off. Now, what are the other possible reasons for the name node going to safe mode? So we could have unreported data nodes, which will cause missing blocks. So maybe when we start up our cluster, some of the data nodes are not responding with heartbeats and block reports. So name node then waits so that it can rectify this problem. And if the storage of some data nodes gets cleared accidentally, even then it goes to safe mode. If your name node is full, that means the hard disk, your storage is full, then it will go to safe mode. If the RAM is full, if no metadata can be entered, then it goes to safe mode. And if the cluster storage is full, that is, if all the data nodes, there is no space in data nodes to store the actual data, even then your name node can go into safe mode. Okay. So these are the reasons for a name node going to safe mode. So I'll discuss a few commands with you now so that you can understand how to see whether the name node is in safe mode or not, or how to put it into safe mode and how to get it out of safe mode. Okay. So if I can just write this Yeah. Safe mode is admin command. So we need to run like this. HDFS DFS bin hyphen safe mode to see whether what is the status of the safe mode right now. Use this command. It's there on your screen. It will tell you whether safe mode is off or on. So it tells you right now that safe mode is off. That means you can do everything with your cluster. So what I want to do is I'll just put it into the safe mode now. Okay. For that the command is this. I'm asking my name node to be entered into safe mode. So now it will say safe mode would be on now. Let's try to put a file into our cluster. Say some file into say the user HD user. I'm copying this file from my local file system to the distributed file system in the user HD user folder. So let's see whether this operation is permitted or not. Okay, so it says cannot create file, name node is in safe mode. So while it is in safe mode, you cannot insert files into your cluster. You can only view files. Yeah, if you want to, list some files, that's fine. Hadoop fs hyphen list. So it will list all the files from the root directory. Some space here, yeah. It will list the files which are there in the root directory. No problems with listing, reading, but inserting, deleting won't be allowed while we are in safe mode. So once you want to come out of it, so you use the command leave. So again, this will bring you out of safe mode and safe mode would be off. All right. So if there are any questions, you can ask now regarding safe mode. This is what I wanted to discuss about safe mode. The three commands are there on screen. You can have a look here. To come out of safe mode, to enter into safe mode, and to get the status of safe mode, whether it is off or on. While the safe mode is on, you cannot insert or remove files from your cluster. Okay. So let's ask one question from Babish. Babish, unmute yourself. Babish, unmute yourself. Babish is not there.
Yes, sir.
Babish, you've taken so long to answer. क्या हो गया? कहाँ चले गए थे?
नहीं सॉरी सर.
सो गए थे?
नहीं सर.
I hope you are awake.
Yes, sir.
Babish, what is safe mode? No answer? You were not listening, right?
Sir, listening.
No, you were not listening. नहीं तो आप बता रहे थे हमने कितना कुछ safe mode के बारे में देखा. Not good if you are not active. है ना? Not good. It's your loss. You're paying money for this. Remember? All right. Let's move ahead. Now let's see a very important thing. We will be starting, the HDFS commands. But let us see something which we can, Akriti, you've raised your hand. Anything important? Akriti? Okay, Anchal, go ahead.
Sir, like we did that particular safe mode, if we don't want to see it on terminal that it is active or not, or rather than on web UI, like we see data nodes or name nodes, can we see in that?
I don't think there is anything on the web UI which indicates whether it is in safe mode or not. Because this is a startup program, and when you go into your browse the file system, I don't think there is. You can check it on your own. I don't think there is any indicator of a safe mode here. You can check it and then maybe we can discuss it.
Okay, sir.
So let's now discuss about the file system commands. I'm going to discuss HDFS commands with you, but before that, let us discuss the scheme for a file system. Okay, so you have a local file system and a distributed file system. There is a local file system and there is a distributed file system. Okay. Local file system and a distributed file system. To mention, these names for these, how to refer to these file systems, it is already configured. Okay. But while you are using Hadoop commands, you can refer to both of them. You can refer to both of them. For the distributed file system, your scheme name is HDFS. Remember, the scheme name for distributed file system is HDFS, and for your local file system, it is file. Okay, these are the scheme names. So you can mention this scheme while writing the command. Okay, very important point. For example, if I write this, it means that I'm not mentioning any scheme here. It means I want to list the files from my distributed file system, because if you don't mention any scheme in Hadoop FS, it will pick up the HDFS scheme. So Hadoop FS -ls, this would mean that it is on the root. You are going to list the files from the root. But if I write it like this, this would mean that I want to list the files from the local file system from its root. Okay, so you need to mention the scheme like this. So this much I have written here. Okay, and then one slash would indicate that I want to display the contents of the root. Okay, so let's see it now. I'll go slowly so that you understand the concept. Say if I write it like this, now keep on noting these things that I'm telling you. This will clear your doubts on scheme. So if I do like this, that means I want to list the files from the distributed file system. You can see these are the folders and files on your distributed file system root. You can check it here. All right. You can see it, all these are here. Okay. And if instead of this, I write this, this will give you the files from the root of your local file system. So now it is not listing from HDFS, it is listing from file. The same command that you wrote here can also be written as this you saw in your configuration files. Your name node name and then a root. Now I'm going to write a few commands, note them carefully. This command will list all the files from your root. Okay, you can see I've given the name node address and then the root, the same files, the same answer, right? What about this command? Raise your hands. See the command on the screen. What will this list? Which files? Yes, Madhav, go ahead.
Sir, it will list files from the web UI.
Incorrect, and your answer is also incorrect. I don't know what web UI has nothing to do with command line. Simply tell from where it will display the files, which files it would display. Yes, Anchal, go ahead.
Sir, it would be from default path, that is user
Yes.
hash HG user.
Yes, it will list the files from the default path. You see, this is the name node, the starting of your cluster. Okay. So when you don't mention any path, if you mention a slash here, okay, like, if you mention a slash here, it would mean the root of your cluster. If you don't mention anything here, it would mean the default path, that is /user/HDuser. So you can see now it will list the trash folder with the complete address. See the address here, HDFS localhost :54310/user/HDuser/dot/trash. Okay, so this is what we mean by scheme. Remember this when you need to work with your commands. Okay, the scheme is clear, I suppose. I'll be checking it at regular intervals in my lectures. Next is how to use the HDFS command. So one command we have already discussed, that is the put command, which is used to transfer a file from the local file system into the distributed file system. So its counterpart is the get command. Its counterpart is the get command. So how to see the get command? Let's go to the web UI. There is a file 5CSE2. Can you see it here? It is in your distributed file system. Let's check whether it is in our local file system also. It's there also. Let's remove it from here. Linux commands rm. The file is removed. So now if you see, there is no such file. Okay. So now I'll copy this file from your distributed file system into the local file system. ठीक है? मैं क्या करूँगा? यहाँ से ये जो फाइल है 5CSE2 इसको कॉपी करूँगा अपने लोकल फाइल सिस्टम में. तो कमांड वुड बी hadoop fs-get and then जहाँ से फाइल कॉपी करनी है और जौन सी फाइल कॉपी करनी है, like this. So my question, where this file would be copied? Please answer. Where this file would be copied? Which path? I'm copying a file from the root with the name is 5CSE2. ये फाइल कहाँ पर कॉपी हो रही है? Okay, Anshul 166, go ahead. Anshul, you want to answer? Unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
What's the answer, Anshul?
Sir, local file system. No.
Yeah, local file system, but where? Which path? Yes, Anshul, Mithil, go ahead. Anshul, go ahead.
Sir, in hash user HD user directory maybe.
No, incorrect. You're not. None of you is understanding, I suppose. I'll go again. Just wait now. So what I'm telling you is that you can copy a file from your distributed file system like this. This is your distributed file system, the web UI. ये file 5CSE2 I want to copy into my local file system. So when I'm asking you कि file कहाँ copy होगी, it will be copied where you are in the current path. How does the current path become user HD user? It would be copied here in home HD user. User HD user is on the HDFS. It's nothing to do with the local file system. So when I write this command hadoop fs-get, what is the meaning of this command first of all? That I want to copy. Get means I want to get a file from my distributed file system and copy it into my local file system. Okay. And the name of the file is 5CSE2 is located in the root. If I don't mention anything after this, then the file 5CSE2 is copied here in home HD user. But suppose I just want to copy it somewhere else, then I can give a path here. Okay. So let me just do this. And then you can list this file here. It is now present. Okay. That is the get command. Now to create a file in your HDFS, to create I'm saying. So far we are copying files from local to distributed, from distributed to local. Now to create a file, you can always create a zero length file in your HDFS. So you can use the touch Z command. Okay. I'm creating a file Ajay11, which is a 0 length file. Hyphen touch Z. Z is for 0. So this will create a 0 length file in your cluster. Okay. You can check it. You just refresh your cluster. You will see Ajay11 file appear. You can see it here. You can see its length is 0 bytes. Okay. So what should be the metadata for this? Should there be a metadata? See, there is no block. Okay. Since no size is there, so there is no block. All right. CD Ajay11 file, there is no block because the file does not contain anything. So just a 0 length file. Okay. Then you can display the contents with the cat command. So let's do an interesting thing now. See carefully, all of you. Let's create a file B1. Okay. I've created a file B1. Let's create another file B2. Okay. So let's list both the files. So you can see B1, B2 files are there. Okay. Now I'll copy both these files into my cluster. So how I can do it? I can write here B question mark. I've written Hadoop FS put B question mark. Let's see whether it works or not. So two files have been transferred. B question mark would mean all the files starting with B and only one character after that. Okay. So let's go to our cluster to see whether these files are there or not. You can see the files B1 and B2 are there. Okay. Now very interesting thing now. Let me display their contents with the cat command. Okay. So can I write something like this? Your answers, please raise your hands to answer. Will this work? Will it display the contents of both B1 and B2? Yeah, I'm waiting for your answers. Don't sleep, most of you. Cat B1 and B2, will it display the contents of this cat B1 and B2 files? Yes or no? Yes, Amanat Beer, please answer. Amanat Beer, unmute yourself and answer. So people are not there, I suppose.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Why it has taken you so long to answer back?
सर एक्चुअली ना सर मेरे ब्रदर के पेपर हो रहे हैं तो थोड़ा बहुत मैं वो उसके साथ भी बिजी होती हूँ, थोड़ा बहुत क्लास लगा रही होती हूँ, तो इसके तो थोड़ा सा डिसलोकेट हो जाता है.
ठीक है, चलो ठीक है, आपसे नेक्स्ट टाइम पूछ लेंगे, नो प्रॉब्लम्स.
यस
यस,
मैम, सॉरी सर, थैंक
कोई
यू.
बात नहीं. यस कुणाल, प्लीज आंसर.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, it will display all the contents of that both the files.
Both the files, okay. Kunal,
Yes.
stay with me, okay?
Okay, sir.
It will display both the contents. Kunal, what I want to do now is, I want to display the contents of B1 from here, okay, and B2 from my distributed file system with one command. First of all, can I write it? मुझे B1 के कंटेंट्स लोकल फाइल सिस्टम से डिस्प्ले करने हैं, B2 के डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड फाइल सिस्टम से. दोनों फाइल्स वहां भी पड़ी हुई हैं. कैन यू गिव मी एन आंसर कुणाल?
Sir, can you please repeat the
I want
question
to
again?
display the contents of B1 from my local file system and B2 from my distributed file system with one command. Can I do it? Yes or no first? If yes, then how?
Sir, yes. With
I
the
will
first file, we can.
specify the command.
Sir, cat B1.
No. If you write a simple command, it will always go to local file system.
Sir, Hadoop fs a hyphen cat v1 cat slash forward slash v1.
Okay.
And sir, it will print the first file contents.
No, Kunal. No. Let's go to somebody else. Why most of you are not answering? What's the problem? Anjali Singh, please answer. Anjali Singh, please answer. Anshul Agarwal, please answer.
Hello.
Yes, please answer.
But I don't know actually.
Why? Are you not present here in the class mentally and physically?
Sir, I am present, sir.
You should be able to answer it. What's the problem? While you're writing Hadoop commands, it always picks up the distributed file system path. If you need to mention a local file system command within the Hadoop command, you should use the scheme file. What is the problem in that? Anshul, you are an intelligent student, you know. For you to answer that I don't know, that's surprising for such a small question. You just need to write this. That's it.
File path.
Yeah. So if you're not listening properly, then obviously I can't help you. Otherwise, the question was very simple. This is the B1 file from my local file system, file colon. Then if I put a simple slash, it goes to root. Below the root is the home, below that is HD user, below that is B1. I'll go in parts. Let's see whether it displays B1 or not. It does. Okay. So within the same command, just write here the second argument slash B2. So when you don't mention anything, it picks up the HDFS. One way of writing it. So it will now display B1 from your local file system and B2 from your distributed file system. Okay, done. See from the that now you can again go in detail. If you actually want to mention the scheme, you can go like this. Go like this. Something we missed here, I suppose. Yeah, we missed this. See, there are so many ways of doing it. So remember, Anshul, file is for the local file system and HDFS is for the HDFS distributed file system. If you don't mention HDFS, it's fine with the Hadoop FS. It will automatically pick up the HDFS part. Is that clear, Anshul?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Now
be
it's
attentive. You are good good in analytics, I know. Just be more attentive. 2 घंटे की क्लास है, उसके बाद तो सारा दिन आपने रिव्यू ही करना है. And one more thing to all of you, whatever I'm discussing here with you, most of the things are in the videos on my channel, but you are not viewing those videos. That's surprising. I don't know what else I can do to make you learn. So if you have missed out on some of my lectures, you can always go there, all the videos on big data analytics, and most of the things would be revised there. I can only suggest that you go there. Most of you have joined my channel, I know that. Now view the videos. Okay. All right. Now another poll coming up your way. Answer it very carefully. You've done most of the things that are being asked in the poll. So poll is in front of you now. I'll give you 1 minute to answer this. So another 30 seconds are left. 15 seconds more. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. I'll count to 5 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to end this poll now. I'm going to share the results with you. So again, you're not on this second question here. We just did it. With put command, you can have multiple source files which can be transferred to HDFS. Yes, you can transfer multiple source files. Just like we have displayed multiple files with cat, similarly with put, we can transfer multiple source files. Okay, we can do it. I'll show it to you. And then while using Hadoop FS, the scheme for the local file system is file, and for the distributed file system is HDFS. So the answer should be none. You see, you have not done it correctly. You are not reading questions. Once again, you will be losing marks. Can't help it. I'm sorry. So I'll just stop this share here. If you're not attempting the polls properly, you may fail in your internal. I'm telling you time and again. I can tell about my subject, big data analytics. I'll be taking your internal, in consideration with what you are doing in the class. So if you're not answering the polls, that means you're not present physically or mentally, whatever. So I'll be keeping that thing in mind. You please note it. You may fail in this if you don't attempt your polls properly. So let's see the list of files here in our local file system. There are two files, 5CSE1 and 5CSE2. Okay, so can we transfer it? Let's try to transfer it. Hadoop FS hyphen put 5CSE1 5CSE2 to root. And if the file is already there, if I need to overwrite it, I must use -f. So let's see if we can have multiple sources. Okay? So I mentioned two files here, two sources. First was this file, second was this file. So you can have multiple sources. Okay, so they go to root directory, both of them. That was what I asked you. Okay. All these commands are there in my 5th video. You can view it there also. But live, when we are discussing in a class, is always beneficial. Okay. Then ls is done. cd command, I think most of you are good now. Say for example, if we list the files, listing the files like this, list them, horizontally. Can we list the files vertically so that one file comes in one line? Can somebody answer? Okay, let's hear Gagandeep Kaur. Go ahead.
So the command will be ls space -1.
Okay, that's good. ls space -1. We discussed it. That's good. ls -1. That's good. Okay. Then let's go to this downloads directory. So how can we go? CD and then space. Then you can use tab. It will automatically autofill it. Okay. We are in downloads directory now. Is indicated by this. So this tilde here means the home folder. Tilde is home. Below home we are in downloads. Okay. Let's list the files here. So there are no files in downloads. Okay. To go back one step, CD space ... Okay. To go back one step, CD ... See, the sign now has changed to /, which indicates the root. You are in the root folder now. Okay. So there are different files here. And from anywhere to go to your home directory, simply CD. Okay. I hope it's clear. So let's see now. We have done TouchZ, MKDIR also we know. Do we know MKDIR? Okay. Let's hear from somebody. Let's see who is there. Amisha is there. Amisha, unmute yourself. Amisha, can you hear me? Yeah. Amisha, please respond. Louder, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Sorry, Amisha, I can't hear you. Okay. Let's go to Abhishek Kumar Singh, 197 roll number. Abhishek, unmute yourself. Abhishek is not there.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Abhishek. Abhishek, एक डायरेक्टरी बनानी है, इस तरह से बनानी है. HDFS के रूट में ये डायरेक्टरी बनानी है A1, A2, A3. बना सकते हैं? We want to create a directory structure like this in HDFS with one single command. Can we make it? एक ही command बना लिखना है. और A1, A2, A3 कोई भी नहीं, कुछ भी नहीं बना हुआ. Can we make it? Anyone who wants to answer this? Anshul, you can answer this. Unmute yourself. Please answer.
No, it's not.
Anshul, are you there? Mansimran, unmute yourself. Well, I'm asking a question nobody wants to answer. They'll pick up some network issues. So many hands are raised. So let's see some new student. Okay, Anjali Singh is there. Anjali, you can answer this. Yes, Anjali?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can create multiple directories.
Yeah, please go ahead. How? Tell me how.
So,
Yeah, go ahead.
सर न्यू डायरेक्टरी के नाम और फिर जो भी कमांड करना है वो
आपने बताना है क्या कमांड करना है. कमांड तो आप ही बताओगे बेटा. अभिनव कश्यप जी, प्लीज आंसर.
Yes, sir. Sir, mkdir.
No. In distributed file system, I want to create this structure.
Okay, sir. Firstly, we will write Hadoop minus
Okay.
p. Minus p.
Hyphen p, right?
Yes,
so
yes.
this hyphen p is very important. For example, if I write like this now, okay? Look at my cluster. Let's go to the cluster, and we'll see that there is no such folder A1, A2. कोई folder नहीं है ऐसा, ठीक है ना? That means you are basically telling it to create this folder A3. But if this path is not there, A1 is not there, A2 is not there, it will create the entire path with one command. Okay, it will create a folder A1 below root. Below A1 it will create A2. Below A2 it will create A3. Okay, so if I go to my cluster now, and I just click here, I'll see a A1 folder here. Can you see a A1 folder? Click on it, you see a A2 folder. Click on it, you see a A3 folder. So all this has been done with a single command, just by -p, which stands for parent, so that if the parent of the directory that you want to create is not present, it will create the parent also. Okay. Now let's discuss a few more commands. I'm writing the commands. First, look at them. One is copy to local. One is copy from local. Okay. So what does the name suggest? You can raise your hands to answer. What does the name suggest? Copy to local, copy from local. You see, there is a local file system, there is a distributed file system. So when I say copy to local, what does that mean? Yeah, Deepthi wants to answer. Go ahead, Deepthi.
To copy files from HDFS to local file system.
Yes. So copy to local would mean copying from HDFS to your local file system. So copy to local is similar to which command, Deepthi?
Get command.
Get command, yes. Okay, next let's ask Sharanjit. Go ahead. Sharanjit,
Uh,
what is copy from local?
yes, sir, it specify, it means copy from local system to Hadoop distributed file system.
So what is it similar to? Which command?
Put.
Put command. Okay. So these are the two commands similar to get and put. So let's use them. Okay, Sharanjit, good. Let's use these two commands now. Let me create a file here so that we are clear. Say P, no, let's create a file K11. Okay, just high in this. I want to transfer it into my HDFS. It is present in my local file system, the file K11. It is not there in distributed file system. I want to copy it to the distributed file system. Okay, one way is I can use a put command. Okay, what other way I can do it? Please suggest. I want to copy this file from the local file system to the distributed file system. So what command I should write? Please suggest. You can raise your hands to suggest. Okay, no hands, so I can do it on my own. Hadoop FS hyphen. Usually we write put. Okay, but I'm saying don't use put. So in that case, you can use copy from local. Okay, the file name is K11. Specify the path. So now I'm saying copy from local. So this command would mean it will copy from local to the distributed file system. Okay, so you can see the K11 file. If we go to our cluster and if we just refresh our cluster, we'll see that the K11 file is now appearing here. Can you see the K11 file here? It has just appeared here. How we have copied it? Using copy from local. Okay. So अब क्या करता हूँ, इस फाइल को यहाँ से रिमूव कर देता हूँ. So if you list a K11 file, it is no longer in your local file system. Now what I'll do is I'll copy it back from here, from my distributed file system. So what command I would use? So I'll use copy to local. Okay. And then the path of the file. So what I'm saying is copy to local. So a file from the distributed file system would be copied into the local file system. कहाँ से करना है मैंने लिख दिया है. From root K11 is the name of the file. So now this file would be here with us. Okay. So we can see now if we list K11 is again back with us. So this is the copy to local and copy from local. The important thing is again the Java nomenclature. If there is a name, if there are multiple words in it, the first word would be in lowercase and subsequent words, the first letter capitalized. Okay. So if there are any questions you can ask now. I'm almost getting to the end. Just one or two more commands. Okay. Let's now go with the copy command. Okay. So CP command. CP command is used to copy files within HDFS. Normally within HDFS. Okay. So HDFS पे एक फोल्डर से दूसरे फोल्डर में जाना है तो CP command use करते हैं. Okay. Let's go to our HDFS and let's see there is a user folder here. Below that there is a HD user folder. Below that there is a trash folder. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll copy these files 5CSE1 and 5CSE2, both these files into this folder user. Okay, so let me do it. So I'll do it like this: Hadoop fs hyphen copy 5. Oh, I need to mention the root 5CSE1 5CSE2 / user. Okay, so I'm mentioning multiple sources. Let's see whether it works or not. some problem has occurred. Let's see what's that. Let's check our user folder. The files have been copied, but some exception has occurred. Okay, maybe some security exception, not sure. Maybe we are accessing the user folder, some permissions. All right, but the files have been copied. So when you need to copy the files within HDFS, you use the cp command. We could have also used this. All the files beginning with 5. Okay, let's see if it says files exist sort of thing. Yeah, file exists. So let's see whether we have a -force switch here, which will force an overwrite. Yeah, it does. Now it's fine. So it was giving problem, maybe, I don't know. Some exception has occurred, but the data was copied in both the ways. Okay. So -f would be if the file exists at destination, it will overwrite it. So I think that would be the end of today's lecture. We have covered quite a bit of work today. I'll put today's video also on my channel so that you can see. I think we have discussed quite a few things today. I'll put this video on the channel. And one final time, if there are any questions in today's session, you can again ask. I'm giving you 5 minutes for that. Anything that you need to ask, you can ask now. Go ahead. Any problems? I think most of you are very tired attending a 2-hour class, right? It's me who has been speaking for 2 hours. I'm not tired. You should not be tired. Okay, Gagandeep Kaur, go ahead. No, I missed Gagandeep. Wait. Yes, Gagan, go ahead.
So can you please locate the folder PLK? So in that we have a subdirectory, that kind of folder.
Where?
So in the data node.
Yeah, that is created automatically. Subdirectory 0, subdirectory 1. As the
So
blocks
it's
in.
only two blocks are there only.
Yeah. Only 2 blocks are there. So what's the problem?
So no,
Let's
by
go and
default
see.
it will be a 2 or it may increases.
Whatever happens in data node is automatic. It will automatically create it. So let's have a look what you are saying. There's nothing in subdirectory 0 now.
So yes,
Okay.
subdirectory 0 and subdirectory 1.
Everything is in subdirectory 1 now. Okay.
Yes.
So it will do it automatically. If you keep on adding files and lots of blocks, subdirectory 1, 2, 3 automatically they are created. User cannot do anything in that. Okay. Okay, Madhav, go ahead.
सर ये लास्ट वाली कमांड में आपने जो 5 और स्टार यूज किया है
या
तो सर ये मतलब हम कितनी भी फाइल्स बनाए तो सबको लिस्टेड कर देगा
जितनी भी फाइल्स 5 से शुरू हो रही हैं.
अच्छा सर.
ये तो आपने पढ़ा होना चाहिए लाइनेक्स में. स्टार मींस ऑल कैरेक्टर्स, क्वेश्चन मार्क मींस 1 कैरेक्टर. इसी कमांड को मैं ऐसे भी लिख सकता हूँ, देखो लिख रहा हूँ स्क्रीन पर. जस्ट चेक, दिस कमांड कैन आल्सो बी रिटन लाइक दिस. 5 CSE1, 4 characters, 1 2 3 4. Another way of writing it. ठीक है. Again 5 CSE1 and 5 CSE2 would be copied. Fine. In fact, 3 files have been copied. Let me check. Just a second. No. 2 files. 5 CSE1 and let's have a check. User.
5 CS.
We'll check. Yeah, 5 CSE1 and 5 CSE2. So this look at this command, Madhav. This means all files starting with 5. After that, we could have any 4 characters, but the total length of the file would be 5 characters, not more than that. करके देखें इसको. रुको. You are in doubt. Wait. Let me create a file cat 5 CSE 1 2 3. एक फाइल क्रिएट करते हैं. We transfer this file ठीक है. इस फाइल को रूट में ट्रांसफर कर देते हैं. ठीक है, रूट में जाते हैं. अब Let's go to the root. Can you see all the 3 files beginning with 5?
Yes,
Madhav,
sir.
can you see them? बट
Yes,
इस
sir.
फाइल के टोटल अक्षर है 1 2 3 4 5, लेकिन इसके हैं 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. सपोज मैं 5 CSE1 और 5 CSE2 कॉपी करना चाहता हूँ, ठीक है? कहाँ कॉपी करना चाहता हूँ? अब मैं कॉपी कर देता हूँ ताकि पता चल जाए. यूजर है, लेट मी कॉपी इट टू यूजर HD यूजर, ठीक है? लेट मी यूज द सेम कमांड, this one, and let me add this thing here.
HD.
So I'm mentioning all the files beginning with 5, but total length should not be more than 5. So अब कौन सी फाइल्स कॉपी होंगी माधव इन तीनों में से? देखें.
Sir, 5 CSE 1 and 2.
1 and 2, ठीक है? So देखते हैं. Let's write this command and let's check. अब जाते हैं यूजर HD यूजर फोल्डर में, ठीक है? Let's go to यूजर HD यूजर फोल्डर. तो चेक की सारी फाइल्स तो नहीं कॉपी होगी 5 से शुरू होने वाली. यूजर HD user. Can you see 5 CSE1, 5
Yes, sir.
CSE2? Got
Yes,
it now? These
Yes, sir.
star and
Thanks.
question mark are known as wild cards, Madhav. इसको next class में और discuss कर लेंगे.
Okay,
ठीक है?
sir.
चलिए. Any more questions, please? So if there are no questions, I'll stop this class now. Thank you very much. I'll put this video on my YouTube channel. Watch this video and the other videos there. They'll help you. Okay. Thank you very much. See you in next class.